What? Oh, thank you too.
Oh, thank you, processed cheese. Ooh, it's Munster.
Hey, Steve, you seem chippier than usual today.
Oh.
And I know it's not therapy day, so
Nope.
what's going on?
Oh, I was gonna wait. I can't.
Oh, it's another present, Steve. You really just can't just. All right, it's a booklet.
Oh, it's not just a booklet. It's a new car booklet.
New car booklet. I don't follow.
Oh, you'll be following me soon.
You bought me a car, Steve?
Due to arrive in a couple days. I chose a blue one. I'm sorry I didn't ask. I hope you like blue. Cruise control, CD player, and best part of all, you don't have to plug it in.
Sounds great, Steve. Look, Steve, I'm sorry, but I accidentally saw the balance in your checking account when you were working there, and I know you can't afford this, especially after paying off all that back rent. Well, unless you have a savings account.
Savings account. Savings account. Oh, broke as smoke. That's me.
That's
But
funny.
that was before I got a very special email from a certain prince in need.
Prince?
Yes, Prince Omagali. Yeah, from some small country near Paraguay. I can't pronounce it.
Steve.
Yeah, turns out his father, a king no less, recently passed away and left his princely son $4 million.
No.
Oh yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, it's Paraguayan currency, and the prince fortunately found me somehow, and he asked me if I could help him transfer that currency into U.S. currency. And for my troubles, he's going to give me half of everything. You know, minus the taxes, administrative fees, those kind of costs, and all that kind of stuff, of course.
Well, of course. So, what do you need to do, Steve?
Oh, this is the great thing. He's going to take care of everything. I just had to give him my social security number, a photocopy of my driver's license, and my signature. I did send him my birth certificate as well. And, he needs I gave him the routing number of my checking account, but that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, nothing else. Oh, our ship, my dear friend, has finally come in. Little partner of mine, our golden ship bathed in all things gold-like. Our cash cow has finally moved in, giving us nothing but golden laced cow pies. And to that, my friend, I say, yum.
Steve.
Now, he told me that before the money arrives, my own balance is going to go down considerably. And it has, quite honestly, quite considerably. But, that's because the taxes and the fees and all that kind of stuff is taken out, So that's kind of where we're sitting right now.
Well, how long have you been sitting there?
Oh, about 2 months, but it's bound to turn around soon.
Look, Steve, how do you know this isn't a scam? It's
Dave,
another scam.
Dave. He said he was a prince, the son of a king. I hardly think royalty would be untruthful, okay? They're very honorable people near Paraguay. Dave, you need to be a little more trusting.
Look, Steve, why don't you just take this back to your car dealer and just ask him to put the deal on hold for now, just on hold until the money comes in.
No can do. Unlike you, the car dealer was very trusting and sold me the car with a no return policy because that gave me a discount. Oh, and there's happens to be no warranty.
There's no warranty and there's no return policy on a new car.
Oh, no. I never said it was a new car. No, this is a new car booklet. I bought you an '85 Buick LeSabre, sky blue Buick LeSabre. Yeah, it's going to be towed to your house in a couple days. Yeah, you're going to need a battery You're probably going to need at least 3 wheels, and you'll need an inspection sticker.
Oh. Hello, good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review with Maine Rep and the Chamber of Comedy. I'm Dave Hanwright.
And I'm Steve Burnett, and this week's update is brought to you by Maine Repertory Theater and Twin Perks Snowflake Cafe, the place to bring your laptop and sip overpriced coffee when you need a safe space to get out of the apartment because it smells too much like you. Twin Perks Snowflake Cafe, celebrating diversity of thought and opinion, just so long as they all line up with ours. And just a side note, they also want you to know that nearly all the rats have been removed. Dave?
Steve. Everyone knows the story of how Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was shamefully banned from any fellow reindeer activity. For years, the red glow of the young reindeer's schnozzle led many to believe he was under the influence of PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs.
That's true.
Despite word to the contrary by his longtime life partner, Clarice. Well, the North Pole's 5th District Circuit Court Judge, Cornelius, has just handed down a ruling that will allow Rudolph to indeed participate in 4 reindeer games this season. These competitions include the pommel horse, rhythmic ribbon floor gymnastics, and the javelin catch.
Ouch.
A 4th reindeer game had yet to be ruled on at airtime.
That's great news for Rudy. You know, I guess there is always tomorrow. You know, Dave, for the longest time, I thought, and you know what, I'll go out there, I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I used to think that the whole Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was made up in its entirety.
Well, you know, it's because it's based on that common folk tale. And
Well, you know, I recently watched the documentary again, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And you know how many deer there are? You know how,
there's 8 shining reindeer. Yeah.
and Rudolph makes
9. Yeah,
Right.
He's the bad weather reindeer.
Still, there's 8 without
Right,
Rudolph.
exactly.
Well, if you watch in this documentary, and maybe it's because of the year that it was filmed, I'm seeing a total of 7 reindeer take off on Christmas Eve with Santa. 7.
So it's like 6 in Rudolph.
6 in Rudolph.
So you got some slacker reindeer
We
in the
got
bunch?
2 reindeer that didn't make the trip. And I waited, I watched the credits. They don't credit any of the reindeer, so you don't even know which ones didn't make it.
You know which one didn't make it? It was his father, Rudolph's father.
What a
jerk.
Oh my gosh. Why
Yeah.
would he try to live up to that man's
I
expectations? Is
have
beyond
no
me.
idea. And he doesn't like his nose, so he slathers all that mud on it? I mean, what is that? And then he's out with the bullies and he sneezes and they go ballistic.
Oh yeah, you know, that reminded me of a time that I had this huge sneeze too. Oh.
What, did you, like, tinkle a little bit?
No, the mud came off of my nose too. Yeah. And speaking of sneezing, with winter now fully upon us, here's Dave with some cold weather dressing tips. Dave?
Thanks, Steve. You'll want to dress in layers, put on a coat. Corduroy trousers are helpful if you can get past the rubbing noise.
Right.
And gloves and a hat are a good choice as well.
Dave, just a quick follow-up question here. If my fingers and toes are numb, should I remain outside?
If both your fingers and your toes are numb, Steve, you should not remain outside.
Oh, great. Great tips for the winter, Dave. Hope that helps our viewers. I know it helped me. So to quote the late, great Pete Seeger, the author of the hit song Turn, Turn, Turn that he wrote for the Christian band J.C. and the Ecclesiastics, there is a time for every purpose, and the purpose this time is to... I seem to have lost my place, Dave.
Well, that's okay, Steve. You weren't making any sense anyway.
Thank you.
On a somewhat related note, in their effort to comply with the current state COVID restrictions, The St. Ives of the Dry-Skinned Catholic Church is urging their parishioners to help expedite this coming Saturday afternoon's confession by confessing only your mortal sins. All venial sin dispensation will be put on hold for the indefinite future.
However, Father Depker warned, just because we're putting a hold on the smaller stuff, don't go thinking you should be committing venial sins willy-nilly, because it'll catch up with you. It always does. And now, with another riveting installment of Things I Learned the Hard Way, please don't ask me how. Here's Dave.
Thank you, Steve. No matter how much your wife pleads with you not to get her anything for your anniversary, don't believe her. Steve?
How's the couch?
It's not as comfortable as the week before.
Well, now you've got so much more needed Dave time.
Oh, I got plenty.
With the COVID vaccination miraculously days away, you know what that means.
Millions of people spared the ravages of one of history's most horrific pandemics?
Community theaters will soon be back in full swing. And since it's been a while, we thought we'd offer you a refresher course on responses or words of encouragement you might consider when your friend or family member has performed in an amateur show that might not have tripped your trigger the way they had hoped.
Comments that can be honest while still keep your integrity intact, somewhat.
Yes.
Such as, Cassandra, you should be proud of the effort.
Congratulations, Clifford. That was an awful lot of lines to listen to. I mean, for you to memorize.
With all that sweating, Benjamin, you must be good.
It's great that the three of you ladies take turns to be the lead in these shows. That way we hardly ever get tired of seeing you. All the time.
Hey, Deb, I've never seen a 60-something pull off the role of a 20-something quite like that before, let alone fit in those slacks. Kudos to you. I imagine you need to go sit in an ice tub now because of all that swelling?
Yeah. Hey, if that's not Broadway caliber, Carl, then I don't need to see Broadway, or this, ever again, for that matter.
Never. What great costumes, Norman. Oh, those are your own clothes?
I didn't know you fancied yourself as a dancer too, Michael, and I'm not sure anyone else did for that matter. And who knew Les Mis had so much dance?
I'm guessing the phantom mask resting on your sinuses, Seth, is what makes you sound so flat when you sing. Seth, that was really brave of you to put yourself out there like that, like a plumber without his tools. Seth, that tuxedo and cape really hides all that unwanted fat of yours.
And finally, I wasn't snoring, I was snorting. Snorting from laughter, Mr. Willie Loman.
And now, here's Steve with a personal note. Steve?
Thanks, Dav. If you've ever had an audience with me, you'll know I'm not a fan of healthy eating. But this coming year, that's going to change. A lot of things are going to change for yours truly. And let's be honest, for most of us, the year 2020 stunk worse than the back of your ears. Go ahead, rub them and then smell your fingers. I think a do-over year is the least we can ask. And so I've decided to recommit to all my 2020 resolutions that I broke last January 2nd to 2021. So, you're going to start to notice some changes in your favorite update anchor, Dave.
Favorite update anchor, Dave? Was there a comma or a period after the word anchor and before Dave? Because it's important. It makes a difference.
Well, you know I don't understand punctuations.
Yeah, right. So, Steve, you're going to share any of the changes you mentioned?
Only one. I'm going to be more mysterious. The rest you'll just have to notice over time.
Mysterious? As in, you're not going to talk about yourself as much anymore?
Don't know. Can't say.
You know, well, if that's the case, bring on 2021 is all I can say.
Yes.
And that's this week's update. Next week, we'll be lighting the main rep Christmas tree, so you don't want to miss that.
Huzzah.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Dave Hanright.
And I'm the man of mystery. Just kidding. I'm Steve Burnett. Remember, when news breaks out, so do we. Thank you.
And good night. Well, that went well, I thought.
Yeah, Dave, I gotta say this. This was one of your better broadcasts. I don't admit this much, but you, my friend, were on top of it. You should be really, really proud of your work.
Well, thank you. And you know, it really felt good.
And, well, how about, how about me?
You know, Steve, you were really consistent.
You know, that sounds like the kind of comment you would tell somebody at a community theater when you didn't want to hurt their feelings.
Oh, no.